Welcome to our exciting deep dive into the economic geography of South Africa. In this video, we'll be exploring the fascinating structure of the South African economy. We'll break down the economic sectors into primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary, and uncover how each contributes to the nation's economy in terms of value and employment. Get ready for an engaging journey through the intricacies of South Africa's economic landscape, where we'll uncover the key sectors driving growth, providing jobs, and shaping the future of this vibrant country. Stay tuned. At the end of our video, we have some questions for you to try out. You can test yourself with these before we show you the answers. It's a fun way to see how well you understand the topic. Practicing with these questions not only helps you grasp the material better but also boosts your confidence and performance when facing tests and exams. This is the first part of our discussions on the economic geography of South Africa. Please check out the links in the description for more on the economic geography of South Africa. Otherwise, stick around and let's explore more. Economic geography is a branch of human geography that studies the processes associated with the spatial and temporal distribution of economic activities across the world. Spatial refers to space while temporal refers to time. In other words, economic geography looks at where and why different economic activities happen in different places around the world. It studies how these activities are spread out over time and space. It seeks to understand the factors that influence where economic activities occur and how they are organized in different geographical regions. South Africa's economy is divided into four main sectors: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Each sector plays a critical role in the country's economic landscape. Let us move on and talk about these sectors in more detail. The primary sector involves the extraction and harvesting of natural resources. The primary sector of the South African economy consists of 5 basic activities. These include activities such as mining, agriculture, ore farming, fishing, forestry, and hunting. Most countries throughout the world make a large portion of their money from the extraction and sales of raw materials and natural resources. This also includes stone quarrying and oil extraction. Resources include a person, asset, material, or capital that can be used to accomplish a goal. The secondary sector encompasses processing, manufacturing, and construction. It involves activities that change raw materials from the primary sector into finished goods and infrastructure. Processed goods are sometimes referred to as value-added goods. Value-added products are raw materials that have been processed to add to their value. Raw materials are materials or substances used in the primary production or manufacture of a product. The South African secondary sector includes manufacturing that is dominated by industries such as agro-processing, automotive, chemicals, electronics, metals, textiles, clothing, and footwear. Other examples of secondary sector activities include metal working and smelting, automobile production, textile production, chemical and engineering industries, aerospace manufacturing, breweries and bottlers, construction, shipbuilding, steel making, and food canning. Tertiary activities involve the provision or distribution of services to businesses and consumers. The tertiary sector provides services rather than goods. The tertiary sector of the South African economy provides services and human skills as a commodity. This sector includes a wide range of activities such as transport, which includes freight transport and public transport, telecommunication, hospitality, public health services, tourism services, mass media, or radio and television, healthcare services, waste disposal, sales or retail services, banking and financial services, education, entertainment, safety and security, which includes the police and the military. The military includes the Air Force, Army, and Navy. Personnel who work in this category can include doctors, accountants, educators, and lawyers. The quaternary sector involves higher knowledge-based activities and services. This high-tech sector is linked to research and development, R&D, information technology, IT, and consulting services. In simpler terms, the quaternary sector refers to activities that involve knowledge, research, and technology. It includes fields like consulting, R&D, and IT. Essentially, it's the part of the economy where brains and innovation drive value. Personnel in this category include scientists, researchers, and technical specialists in the computer and IT fields. The quaternary sector of the South African economy is the most advanced sector. It includes intellectual services and skills, as well as computers and IT. Consulting, environmental management, and resource conservation are considered quaternary activities. This sector drives innovation and the development of new technologies and products, such as developing vaccines for the coronavirus. We have discussed the four sectors of the South African economy, and we have seen that these include the primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary sectors. Each of these sectors adds to the overall economic performance of the country. This means each sector contributes a proportion to the economy. Economic performance can be measured using the gross domestic product, GDP, and employment levels. GDP is the value of all goods and services produced within a country over 1 year. It measures the total value of goods and services produced within a country's borders, regardless of the nationality of the producers. Gross national product, GNP, is the total goods and services produced by the permanent inhabitants of a country in 1 year. It includes the value of goods and services produced by nationals working abroad and excludes the value of goods and services produced by foreigners within the country. How much a sector contributes to GDP or employment levels reveals its importance and value to the total economy. A higher contribution to GDP means the sector generates significant economic output, while a higher employment level indicates it provides many jobs. These factors show how essential the sector is for economic growth and job creation. This pie chart shows that the tertiary sector is the largest and contributes more to the GDP than any other sector. Let us now look at the contribution of each sector to the economy. Historically, the primary sector was significant in South Africa due to mining, which has been a cornerstone of the economy. However, contribution to GDP from the primary sector has declined over the years but remains important, especially for exports. The primary sector in South Africa contributes approximately 10% to the country's GDP. This contribution varies, with mining typically being the largest component, followed by agriculture and fishing. The exact percentage can fluctuate or change from year to year due to changes in global commodity prices, production levels, and economic conditions. Agriculture remains vital for food security and rural employment. While its contribution is relatively small, around 2.8% of GDP, it remains essential due to exports and employment. About 9.7 million people, about 19%, are directly or indirectly dependent on agriculture for their employment and income. Agriculture remains the largest employment sector in South Africa. However, there is a huge subsistence sector of the farming community which contributes very little to the gross domestic product, GDP. Fishing includes freshwater fishing, marine or sea fishing, and aquaculture. Aquaculture is the practice of breeding, rearing, and harvesting fish in controlled environments for food. Fishing is a large industry in South Africa. A R45 million fish hatchery was initiated at the Gariep Dam in the Free State. About 28,000 people, or 0.05% of the population, are directly employed by the fishing industry in South Africa. Forestry uses about 1,257 million hectares, or about 1% of South Africa's land surface, and contributes about 1% to the GDP of South Africa. The forestry sector directly employs about 170,000 people, or 0.34% of the population. Hunting has lost its importance in South Africa. It is now a recreational activity rather than an economic activity for the sale of animal coats and products. South Africa has many mineral reserves and resources, with 60 minerals still actively mined. In 2008, this sector employed 527,000 people, about 1% of the population. Despite South Africa being famous for its gold mining, gold has fallen from its position as the main contributor of mineral sales in the economy. The secondary sector is a key contributor to GDP and export earnings, with the industry contributing approximately 29.7% to GDP in 2022. This sector provides high-value jobs and has significant linkages with other sectors like mining and agriculture. The secondary sector processes raw materials from mining and agriculture, which is crucial for effective competition in the global economy. A diversified manufacturing base has enabled this competition, stimulating the growth of other activities, such as services. Manufacturing also helps achieve specific outcomes like employment creation and economic empowerment. It presents an opportunity to accelerate growth and development and is the fourth largest employment sector in the South African economy. The secondary sector in South Africa employs approximately 2.6 million people. The tertiary sector is the largest contributor to GDP. This reflects global trends towards service-oriented economies. Services dominate, accounting for about 67.5% of GDP. The tertiary sector includes dynamic and growing industries like financial services and tourism. The sector is a high-employment sector, providing jobs in diverse fields from retail to healthcare. Human skills and services are a growing component of the economy. About 7 million people in South Africa work in this sector of the economy. The quaternary sector is smaller in GDP contribution compared to the tertiary sector, but it is growing rapidly. The quaternary sector has grown considerably in South Africa since the advent of computers and the growth of electronic goods and services. There has been no conclusive research documenting the number of South Africans employed in the quaternary sector of the economy. The quaternary sector contributes about 11% to the GDP. We have come to the end for today. But before we go, please attempt the following questions before the answers pop up. You can pause the video as you go. This is an important section that consolidates what you have learned. In economic geography, we use statistical and graphical information. Understanding the structure and contribution of economic sectors can be significantly improved through the use of statistical and graphical information. Let us meet next time as we discuss this further. Be sure to check out the link for this in the description. Also, please do not forget to subscribe so that you do not miss our weekly uploads. Otherwise, thank you for watching and keep well.